What's up, everyone? Welcome to TRF Talk. I'm your host, Haly J. So excited, as always, to be here with you. Our guest today is someone I've known for a while. She's someone I consider a friend, but she is also amazing career-wise. A nationally certified school psychologist, Maya Evans is the powerhouse behind the brand Mental and Muscle. She's also a fitness coach. She's super wise beyond her years. I've gotten the chance to work with her before in various opportunities, and I'm so excited that she said yes to coming today to work out with me. We are already sweating. It is warm out here in beautiful Delray Beach, Florida. So I'm excited to have her join us and talk a little bit more and maybe see how far I can push her. Let's go. What's up, Maya? Let's go.
I'm so ready, so excited to be here.
All right, so we're gonna start with our warm-up today, just a little bit of mobility and dynamic movement, because I know we're already pretty warm.
Yes.
But I want you to kind of give me a brief overview and our friends on what you're doing these days, what you're studying, how you're working, and your background. On,
Oh my
how you
goodness.
got to where you are now.
How much time we got?
You got
Okay.
like 30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds. All right. So my name is Maya Evans. I am a nationally certified school psychologist. So I'm doing right now with that a lot of assessments, assessing for autism, ADHD, specific learning disabilities. But meanwhile, if that was enough, I'm also doing my doctorate in clinical psychology, and that is across the spectrum. Adults. I just finished a serious mental illness. That was with schizophrenia, borderline personality. Next, I'll be going into university setting and just really trying to get as much knowledge as I can on all mental health disorders, conditions, to be able to support ultimately the athlete. So I feel like right now a lot of mental health care for athletes is focused on sport performance and just how do we get you back to play.
Yeah.
And I really want to focus on the mental health of the athlete, actually supporting them through anxiety, any depression symptoms. Maybe get the athlete with a personality disorder and being able to support them and just beyond the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that fitness coaching. We'll keep going. 30 seconds is done.
No, you're good.
Okay.
So we're gonna go lateral lunge shift. So
All right.
with that, and you said you want to focus really on athletes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm gonna turn my back to you.
All right, no problem.
Do you think, like, does that come because you've been an athlete? You did track and
Yes.
field.
Oh my gosh.
Tell us a little bit about that, and is that
I'm
like
switching
kind of
to
what inspired you?
Oh yes. So if we back it up, I was an athlete. I consider myself having been an athlete my entire life. The second I was too old to be in the daycare of the gym, I was right next to my mom on the treadmill. I would go and do push-ups with my dad. So I've been an athlete all my life. The mental health piece did not come till way, way, way later.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I was like working out stopped being so fun and it was like competition. All right, this is what you're doing in college, this is what you're doing on the daily, that mental health part came in. I didn't know how to manage it. And not to throw a shade at the time, but like there was not a lot of mental health support for athletes that was beyond, all right, let me give you some medications and then you'll be right back to it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it looks like I'm just gonna have to figure this out for myself. So which is why I ultimately decided to pursue my studies in it.
So what would you say is your overall goal or mission in what you're studying? Now you're getting your doctorate.
Yes.
What is not the end goal, because I don't know if there's really an end,
Yeah, I'm
right?
always.
But like something you're really working towards right now.
Yeah, so I really want to build a brand around psychologist-led wellness brand that integrates both mental health, mental performance, and physical wellness, and really being the top-notch, evidence-based like platform for that, and having I gotta use this education somehow, right? And being able to use that in skills-based programs, in workshops, and really giving all the stuff that I've learned so that everyone else doesn't have to go spend 8 years getting a doctorate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help and give that knowledge to the people and to help apply to your sport, to high performers every day, whatever it takes to help you perform in your day-to-day life.
Love that. All right, so you told us a little bit about your background, your why. Tell me a little bit about your experience as a coach and getting more into the mental health side of things, and why that has become so important to you. I know you've worked with a decent amount of athletes, professional level, all the way down to kids. But where did kind of that need first pop up to you?
Yeah, so this mental and muscle was actually my COVID baby, and it was something where people didn't know how to work out in COVID with the gyms closed, right? So it started off as that, but I was like, okay, this is my in to also throw in some of that mental health that maybe people aren't even realizing is happening right now, some of the mental health concerns of being isolated. And so I was like, I never wanted it to just be workouts, because I knew that from an advanced level of when it came to just doing workouts and you get to a level where the mental needs to come in, like, and I didn't have those skills. So I wanted to always make sure that that was a part of my brand.
Yeah.
And so I intentionally put mental first, mental and muscle, so that knowing that that's most important out of everything. But I think, let's see, it's the journey for me started way back when, and I found that it was important to not only know your sport, but also know yourself. And so that's like been part of my whole integrated journey and skills base, is like, it's beyond, all right, how can I perform in that moment of your sport, but just on a day-to-day.
Yeah.
And being able to do that.
All right, so power pull, we'll go right hand in the handle and just lock it into place. So pull down. Okay, so we'll start here, and this is the one where we're gonna squat, reach back behind us. Okay?
We're dancing.
We're dancing.
I used to do ballet and stuff too, so you miss.
Oh, tell us more about your ballet.
No,
We could do some pas de bourrées.
we sure could. But those days, it was actually, that's funny, because I used to do dance, and then when I started doing track, and I would go from track to dance practice, but it came a time when they were on the same day, and I had to decide which one I was going to keep doing, and it became track.
Dang.
But yeah, so I think in a lot of when it comes to working out now and just how people get stuck, they may find themselves at a plateau, and then that's where the mental comes in. And just like, well, I always start off when I'm training and working with people, when I'm working with athletes or whoever it may be, I'm always looking first at their like behaviors and what their routines are already in the day-to-day. I'm talking about mindset, how they're feeling, assessing their stress. So that's where kind of that mental piece that I've learned from my schooling comes in first.
Yeah.
But I'm never just like, all right, let's just get right into working out. No, it's like, are you even ready? We do this in therapy, is we try to see if you're ready for therapy. Same thing, I'm like, are you ready for this commitment? Like, this is something that I'm trying to build for you of a lifestyle, not just short term for you to get ready for your wedding or for the track meet or for whatever. Like, this is a lifestyle.
So, you know, in my research, my deep dive on you, I was reading up on some of your career and where you're at now. And one of the things I thought was super interesting was it said that you conduct and do assessments with some of the students you work with.
Yes.
And kind of see where they're at, assess where they're at mentally, and I'm sure it's much deeper than that, but that sounds like, you know, that's kind of scary for the average person to think like, I need to assess someone else and where they're at mentally. So tell me about that, like the first time you maybe had to do that and how you felt, like what prepared you mentally yourself.
Yeah, that's funny, because I think I bring it back to training, and it's like when we're assessing our athlete, our client, for goodness of like their fitness level, what do we look like? We're not fit ourselves, assessing them for fitness.
Right.
And so same thing, mentally, I had to get to a place where I was mentally fit to be able to, I know girl, to be able to also feel confident in my assessment of others. So it took up until me, probably my first master's in schools, like seeing my first clients, I knew I needed to be at a place like of confidence, of a good mental health to be able to do that. And I think that informs a lot of what I'm assessing for. Like, yes, I have all this knowledge and skill, but it goes beyond the paper. And it's like, I know how I was feeling when I was in a certain place, and I'm looking for that in these kids. And also when it comes to high performers, it looks a little different than what we learned about. So
yeah.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's go. We're gonna go toes
I'm going
in.
to the next thing.
She's ready. I like that.
I'm breathing heavy, y'all, but it's just my allergies, okay? I'm actually great.
She's not even sweating.
I'm not at all.
So before we start, let me ask the question and then you get to answer while you're working.
Wait, yeah. Let me.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to add one thing. Yeah, just like when I was saying it looks a little different for athletes and high performers.
Yeah.
Is because we've learned when we've learned how to like push away our emotions, and so we do so by doing more sometimes. So on paper, depression is supposed to be you stop doing things, you're at home, you're isolating, but the high performer might be the opposite, and they may actually start adding more. And I'm like now gonna add more to my plate to avoid at home where I start to think, right? So something I've noticed about a lot of high performers and athletes and professionals, one thing we've learned how to cope with our emotions is to not deal with them, right? And so what you might see that's different from some of these questionnaires and in the books about depression, you may see with high performers that instead of isolating, instead of just being home and stop doing things, we may do more in order to avoid that. So we may add more stuff to our plate. We may start going out more. We may be even more social, but it's inside that all that is a deflection to us actually looking and dealing with what we have going on.
Yeah.
So you may see that, or I see that, and I'm able to catch up on that, whereas other people are like, they're good.
Yeah.
They're out here, they're still doing their thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. You have to, so basically, we're looking at what is different from your typical functioning.
Yeah.
What does that look like normally, and then where are we at now to kind of assess that.
That's crazy. I feel like I do that because I don't have to think about things.
Exactly.
So I'm like, if I have a schedule and I'm booked and busy, I don't have to worry about anything or myself.
Yeah, exactly. And I was the same way.
Yeah.
Same way. Still can go back into that tendency sometimes. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go back to the top and do the first two exercises. Good with that?
Oh yeah.
Yay! All right, so let's talk a little bit. We'll start with a back fly, or the clock fly here.
Okay.
About 30 seconds. And speaking about working with athletes or even Gen Pop in classes, I think a trendy joke is that clients will say like, oh, my coach is my psychiatrist, basically like counseling, which I understand why they would say that. And we are, I think, equipped to at least be a listening ear. However, as someone like yourself who is actually studying it and taking the steps to work in psychology, tell me kind of some of your thoughts and maybe some stuff you've seen that you would maybe advise coaches to stay away from in that area or aspect.
Yes, so I love that people are going to the gym to work out as a form of what they're calling therapy in order to help with their mental health.
Okay.
I think it helps to enhance on the surface level, but it's not helping get into, and that's the same thing I think when we're athletes, we're able to we're working out, but we're still feeling some type of way, and that's because you're not also doing the work to get really deep in there, and that's not in the place of a trainer. In our experience, we know that trainers also are dealing with things just like other professionals, and without being fully trained, you can easily trigger, you can easily re-traumatize individuals by doing so, or you can lead them in a way. A lot of times what I'll see is it becomes like more, this is what I did and this is what you should do, which is not therapy. Therapy helps you explore what works best for you, and it's not at the recommendation of the therapist.
Okay.
So I see that
so we'll go
as
powerful.
being potentially just detrimental. Just that they don't have that formal training.
Right.
Whew. Oh yes. I also just think that it puts a Band-Aid, and I do understand therapy can get expensive and that same thing with when we're thinking about training and hiring a personal trainer, that can get expensive as well.
Right.
But people are like, I'm gonna do that.
Let's go two more.
Because people can actually see whether or not I'm working on my physical fitness. You can tell, to a certain extent, you can tell it's out external how well people are doing with their fitness. You can't tell externally, mentally how you're doing. So people would prioritize, I'm gonna put money towards what people can see versus putting money towards the internal. But at the end of the day, if there's too much going on internally that you don't deal with, it's gonna come out. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to see that as well.
All right, so switch sides. One thing I feel like, I do think that therapy in general, as we've grown up in like our age,
Yeah.
is more accepted for sure, more talked about.
Yes.
But I do wonder if people kind of shy away from the therapy because it's way more likely that someone's gonna say like, I love my trainer, I love my gym classes, versus, oh, I love therapy.
Yeah.
I had so many issues I need to work through and it helped.
You know what? I think trainers are just so much more accessible too. Like even as a therapist, psychologist, I don't know many of them outside of my program.
Yeah.
And I just think that's one thing I want to be at networking things. I want to be doing things so people can see me
Two more.
and know what therapy and psychology is like. It's so still like we know they exist, but we still don't know like what they do. Trainers are out here, they're on social media, they're on things like this, they're doing podcasts, they're doing things to show what they're doing on the day-to-day, and I think people just don't know like what therapists are doing.
Yeah.
So I think there's more, let me just search, click in a random person that you don't know, versus with trainers, you've gone to their class already, you did a trial, you've heard from other people. And so I just think that there needs to be more of us out here doing things on the day-to-day. But I get it, because it's hard. We're in an office, we're seeing people, or we're working from home. We're half the time doing notes and reports. And so it takes an extra step for us to also be out there, but I think it's super important to do.
So, speaking of therapists and how it's definitely not maybe as accessible to figure out who you want, I've actually talked to several people about this, of like shopping for a therapist.
Yes.
And how it's, you know, like you said, you can't go on Instagram and be like, I like this style, like you could with a trainer. And I know I've looked before, had not the greatest experience with a therapist I was going to start with. Yeah. So what would be your advice for someone who's maybe like, I think I need therapy, or I want to try it, but how do I even start?
Yeah, that's tough. Like you said,
Last one.
we're seeing, for therapists, you may not see us on social media. There's obviously, see? It's different when you're talking and doing the work. Are you ready for the next slide?
Yes.
We can switch. So what I would recommend is doing your shopping search. So looking at Psychology Today is a site that is able to kind of filter certain interests, preferences of your therapist or psychologist. Also understanding there is a difference. So we are all under this all-encompassing therapist, but they're, depending on the name, you have different training. We're looking for, everyone knows like CBT, a lot of people know, I've heard of that one first, cognitive behavioral therapy, but knowing that there's so many different ones of training of therapy as well. But I would say to start with a site, and this is not an ad, but a site like that, to be able to look through just like what even exists. Because again, we don't know, it may just be going off of our friend's therapist, which is, you may think, because they're my friend, that their therapist would work for me. But it can be not always the case. Because who knows what, yes, and you and your friend are cool in this moment and you've brought yourself life experience to be here, but there's so many things you've been through that are separate from your friend that could be better assessed, better supported by a different type of therapist. This is something I really want to do a whole, like, maybe do part 2. But I know we can really get into. The short is, do your shopping just like you do with your clothes. You're looking at the different, filtering through, and then asking questions to the people you do see on Instagram, to people, a supportive friend, like being able to ask like what this means. We have our, other side. Being able to look up what this means, and then not being afraid. To, yes, you may have one. I went through 3 before I found one that stuck. So unfortunately you can't like, just like you buy something, you can't like return it. You still put that money in to try them out. But don't be afraid to like switch to a different store, if we're going with that analogy. Like you don't need to stay with the same person if it's not working for you. But first, I encourage people to let their therapist know that, because we may be going off of, you know, what's worked before, or what we assess from the outside, but you know yourself best.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I encourage people to do is like advocate for themselves in therapy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because I've been told by people like, oh, just try out a therapist, like try a session.
Yeah.
But how would you say, like, what's the best way, other than if you just happen to click, of knowing, hey, this is the right person for me, or maybe I should look for another one?
So ideally, you're asking if you can have a consult first, a free consult.
Nice.
Within that consult, you want to ask, what are some of your modalities or treatment plans that you like work best with?
Okay.
And they can describe that to you and like what conditions it works best with. You can tell a little bit about your story. You don't have to go too much into detail. And then how you learn best.
Okay.
How you learn best if you are one that needs like strict worksheets, or if you more like conversation, questions, challenge me. What type of person, when you are talking with people and friends, like what is most supportive for you? Do you like the friend that calls you out on stuff?
Yeah.
Or you like your friend to hype you up?
Okay.
And I feel like that's the difference in a lot of therapists is like, I'm gonna call you out. Like we're not sitting here in Delulu land. I'll listen, and I'm in the most kind way possible, I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Super kind. But I do like to help you recognize certain things that you may not be able to yourself.
Right.
Versus some other therapists, and again, can be the same result, but you may need more of a compassionate, like, let me really, really ease into. I'm used to like more of the high performer athlete that's like very results focused. So in order to do that, we're gonna need to really talk through some of these things. So that's a big difference I see too, that I don't think people ask ahead of time.
Yeah.
Is asking like, what's your style in therapy, the progression. I even ask if they've been to therapy themselves.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important.
Yeah.
Like, how are we gonna ask a trainer to assess me and they've never worked out?
Yeah.
And I need a therapist to assess me that has done therapy themselves before, you know?
So in fitness, I've definitely met trainers who have not done any type of training to be a coach in general, and maybe do work out, but you see them and you're like, I feel like I have better form than them. Is that common in therapy? Is that something we should look out for?
Let me not call out my therapist, my fellow.
Yeah. But I think it's
let me say, it
accountability.
is common that, let me not say common, it is not unheard of that therapists will have not also gone to therapy themselves.
Okay.
And I just see that as like how I started off learning. Like I'm trying to like, we can talk.
I know.
I'm like the client, you know, with the client, they're like, yeah, tell me more. I'll just keep talking so that we don't.
You're so funny.
But I say that is, so I started off to become a therapist to understand myself. And I think there's a place where it needs to switch and you need to really work on applying that to yourself. And you feel vulnerable enough to go to therapy instead of being in this like more power role. You need to be the client for a while. And I think some therapists might get stuck in that and like, all right, I know how to apply to other people and like I can do that, but there's another level you unlock when you have done it yourself.
Right. Yeah,
and you understand. Yeah, for sure. All right. So I wouldn't say it's, I think most of us have, but there's definitely some that, and even then you've gone to therapy, but it's different situation.
Right.
Different life history. So they may still not have that personal experience with whatever it is you're dealing with.
Yeah. So we're gonna hit legs a little bit. We got these nice 25-pound balls because Maya and I don't show up just for fluff, okay? So as
these are go muscles, not show muscles.
Say it louder for the people in the back. All right, so we're gonna go forward lunge and some slams, and we're gonna have a nice, easy conversation. But I wanted to talk to you about your brand, Mental and Muscle, and your social media presence. So you've been able to really build, I think, a solid brand identity.
Yeah.
You have a great amount of followers on Instagram. So tell me a little bit how you were able to kind of find your niche.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you maybe started with and were like, oh, this is not working for me? Let's go 2 more.
Yeah, so I actually started off and kind of I veered off and then came back. So I started off posting like mindfulness, mental skills and workouts. And then I started seeing like, and that was when I had not even 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
And not to laugh at that, but just thinking of myself like, no. but I was like my most authentic self in that space.
Yeah.
And then when it started to grow, or kind of I wanted to grow more.
Ready, slams?
Yeah. I wanted to grow more, and I started looking at the trends and what everyone else is doing, thinking that would work. Worked for a bit, but wasn't sustainable because it wasn't authentic to me.
Yeah.
And I saw the plateau after a while because it was coming off as inauthentic. And that's what I realized going back to my sub 1,000 was I was my most authentic, and I was sharing different things that weren't on trend.
Yeah.
And like sharing the mental health skills from, at that point I was still in my master's, so I still had some knowledge that's beyond, you know, what ChatGPT could tell you, or beyond like what what they may have just, you know, whatever the case may be, motivational speaking. And I found that so my tip would be, yes, follow what works as far as like length and style of video, but the content behind it needs to be authentic to you.
Yeah.
And something you can sustain and something you're excited about.
Good.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, that's what people are gonna gravitate more towards, something that they can see their authentic self in, and what vibes with them is how you'll build your community.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, so we have our slams now. I'll talk while we do burpees. Or I mean, while we do slams.
Whoa.
No burpees.
I love
Sorry,
a burpee,
PTSD.
but
No.
talking while doing the burpee.
No. All right, 5 slams. So, tell me, when you were growing, you're kind of figuring things out, and you've seen all the different platforms and all the ways people are making money. What about online coaching? Last one. Would you do online coaching? Are you doing that? Is that a plan?
I was for a bit.
Okay.
Then I started school and I needed to be all in on that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rule it out again, but I would want to build an integrated program. It wouldn't be just online physical coaching.
Yeah.
It'd be some type of mental skills as well, for sure. So I don't knock it. I think it's important, especially for people like myself that are from small towns that don't have access to trainers and some of those more comprehensive programs. I think it's important for that. But for myself right now, it's too much.
Yeah. All right, let's
but
do
I
one
think
more
that it's a great thing.
Yeah.
If you do it right.
Yeah.
And isn't just focused on certain things like lose X amount of pounds in 2 days.
Okay, so speaking of that,
Okay.
great segue. I wanted to ask you, because I know you've been working in the fitness space for a while.
Yes.
You've been an athlete. What are maybe like top 3 trends or things you see in the gym and in fitness, whether it's on social media or in person, that you wish would go away, and why?
Okay. So myself being strength-based, I'm like, okay, let's improve on certain things. I think we could improve. The thing that comes to my head is this focus on physique and look. It goes back to, again, that's what people see, and it's important to look good, feel good, all that stuff, but in the end of the day, it's not creating a sustainable program and workout plan and for wellness. And I think that having this basis in performance since I was a kid has helped me like know that regardless of I got a few extra pounds or whatever, I still have this part of me that I want to do every day. Like,
yes.
I want to have this as a routine regardless of the phase that I'm going through, because inevitably we're not going to be X number of pounds forever.
Right.
Things happen, health concerns, life, kids, whatever, school. And I think it's important, like, I just know right now I'm doing lighter stuff, but I just know that like wellness is going to be part of my routine. So I would like to see more of that, building a routine versus losing weight.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that.
You want to do your slams?
No, but okay.
Okay, 5 more.
go.
Here we go.
I think I would also like to see more of, I know it's like, there's so many avenues to make money to build your business, but I really do value like going to get some education in your skill.
For sure.
I just can see like people are like, why are you going back to get a doctor? You have a master's that you can do work with that. But for me, it was like, I've learned so much beyond what I knew, and by getting that extra education, I think it's super important. I think that's kind of like falling to the wayside a bit.
Yes.
And I think that like getting out of your own head and getting the perspective of others, humbling yourself a bit to learn is important. So I'd like to see more of that too. Third one, I don't know. What would you like to see less of?
Yeah, I think for me,
and you have to do burpees while you just say burpees while you say it.
All right, how about we do one more set?
Okay.
And I'll talk. All right, so forward lunge.
Yes.
So I would say, piggybacking off yours, is definitely the education part. I absolutely think that you can pick up experience working in a gym, working out in classes, and learn cues and stuff like that.
Right.
But I have never been in a class or met someone who has learned the anatomy, let's do two more.
Right.
Injury prevention, rehab type stuff, just from observing. So while I would always tell a coach, yes, you should be out there observing, taking classes, working with a trainer even to learn, getting like hands-on experience, that certification, have insurance, you know. I get that sometimes we maybe slow down or don't have clients at a certain point, but I think that is also something that people kind of act like is not important. And until the day when a client of yours gets injured, and all of a sudden it's a big deal.
Speaking of which, should I sign a waiver for this?
I text her, are you good?
Yes.
So that's one. And then another one I would say is, I think the social media trend.
Yes.
People, I have clients who come to me like, I saw this online and I need to drink this water now and I need to be on peptides now and now I'm not on peptides. I'm on this and this trainer told me never do glute bridge.
Yes.
So I think it's okay to learn, like for sure, do your research, and if, by all means, if your trainer is telling you something and you don't agree, you can definitely, you can definitely do some research, ask others, like people whose opinion you value. But if you're on TikTok or social media in general, you will see there's often contradictory videos, one after the other. So that would be something I would say. Don't listen just to whatever's online. Find someone who knows what they're talking about.
Piggybacking off that, I think beyond the physical, the workout, I think there's so much misinformation on like nutrition, on just our day-to-day. And there's a big thing on, okay, cut out all carbs, cut out this completely. And what I know from mental health is cutting out, like let's think of substance use, cutting it off completely can lead to relapse. And so I think it's always important, like just even the communication around that, things like big back and stuff like that. Like I talk to my psychologist and they're cringing because I'm like, that is negative self-talk. Or, certain things like restriction of eating, you talk to the psychologist, well, that's an eating disorder. Like, so I think the wording, what we talk about on social media, the trending stuff, we need to be more careful from a psychologist's perspective, from a mental health perspective, because we're wondering why our clients are at a plateau, why they're still feeling low self-esteem. Well, how are we saying it? Like, we're saying that you should have lost 10 pounds already. Like, no. So I think the wording around that, which is the purpose of my workshop that I had, it was like to talk about the wording. I think trainers just don't know. I think that's the thing. And we're going with what we see and what the trend is. So I don't blame trainers for that at all.
No.
So it's just we need more correct information than the misinformation that's spread.
All right, so we're gonna do our last finisher. It's an ISO hold, wall sit. We're gonna hold because we love the 25-pound slam ball. Why not? All right, ready?
Yes, ma'am.
3, 2, 1. All right, so rapid fire. Let's start nice and easy. Leg day or upper body day?
Leg day.
Leg day, okay.
Gotta do leg day.
Booty pump or quadzilla? Which would you prefer?
I'm a quadzilla, but I need to do more booty pump.
Favorite type of workout to do on your own?
Oh, plyo.
And least favorite?
Yoga, to be honest. I didn't want to say it. I was like, no, I'm gonna say it.
She needs to do some yoga. All right, how about if you could pick any athlete to race, challenge in a race, who would it be?
Sydney McLaughlin. Sydney McLaughlin.
Okay,
she seems like such a vibe. No, and definitely not in hurdles, but I feel like it would be a vibe and we could like go to church and hang out after.
Okay. Favorite trend on social media? Like a dance, a funny audio?
Oh my gosh, I love watching the dances, but you know what? I really love like when people go and do acts of kindness.
Acts of kindness? How do you feel about
Wait, why am I
filming
struggling?
it,
This 25 pounds is not it.
Hold on. Oh, she's resetting.
I'm already resetting. Hold on. As soon as you said quadzilla, I was like, wait, my quads.
Okay, we're gonna go 10 more seconds.
I'm gonna hold it here.
Favorite exercise?
Okay, I love lunge to combo, like lunge combo.
Favorite food to eat after a workout if you have no guilt about it?
Oh, something sweet. I love sweets, but I'm gonna say, actually no, peanut butter and jelly is my favorite thing.
All right, that's fine.
Look, now I'm like, I cheated, so I have to hold it longer. I'm sorry, y'all. Oh man,
that was not fun.
No, I love it. It's like the talking. I should incorporate this in my therapy sessions. Like, we're gonna do
little workout.
See, you thought it was hard to talk about it. Now you got to do a workout while you talk about it.
Tell me how you feel while doing push-ups.
No, but that was great, Haley. I love it.
That is it, everyone. You did it. We did it. Turf Talk. Once again, I am your host, Haly J. Always happy to be here with you working out. If you want to know more details about the workout we did, we will post those as well. Just remember this, 25-pound slam ball or heavier, always. Okay? I just want to say a big shout out and thank you to Maya Evans for being here. She showed up unaware of what was going to happen or what we were going to do, and I just threw her into the fire. We had a great time working out. She's a beast anyway, but sharing a lot of knowledge, so thank you, Maya, for that. I feel like I learned and hopefully everyone else did as well. But before we go, I want you to just let our friends know, is there anything they can be looking forward to from you or events, activities? What can we see in the future?
Yes, now that I'm like over the hump of school, you'll definitely be seeing more events popping up, workshops, tap in with me, mental and muscle, on social media, and we'll be looking out to learning more and growing together.
All right, that's a wrap. We'll see you all soon. Great job, great job.
Awesome.